And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet again another live transfer news show. It's midweek madness at Manchester United, and it's not so great news. It's not amazing. AC Milan out of the Rasmus Hojlund race. They are signing another striker from Germany, but what domino effect could that have? We'll definitely talk about that. What is Joshua Zirkzee's ceiling? With the quotes coming out recently from people internally at Man United, they seem to rate him as highly as Cunha. I want to ask the lads if they feel the same. Jadon Sancho's agents want a giant payday, as well as Jadon Sancho, which is making this deal even more difficult by the day. And also the midfield pecking order has been spoken about in a couple of articles as well, in terms of the rotation for the sixth position and a little bit more advanced position with Bruno Fernandes and Kobbie Mainoo as well. We've got Sam and Shreyas alongside us. How are we doing, fellas? We all good?
Yeah, doing fairly well.
Fairly well, Sam?
Yeah.
Fairly well? Good? Bad?
Yeah, long day, but yeah, all good.
Do you ever have a short day?
Not when you work in marketing. Marketing is always long. It's always a long day.
Well, for everyone watching, let us know if you are having a long day yourselves, if you're working, if you're just finishing work, saying that it's 6 o'clock, so I'd imagine the majority of you have by now. But let us know whatever it is you're doing on this planet, whether you're watching live or later on. We received news earlier on today, lads, that AC Milan have pulled out of the race for Rasmus Hojlund. AC Milan and Bayer Leverkusen are in advanced talks for Victor Boniface deal. Negotiations underway today. As Victor has said yes to AC Milan, contract proposal talks continue over a deal structure. That's coming out from German journalist and Fabrizio Romano. The question is, have they pulled out because another club is more advanced, in which case is that club Napoli, or have they pulled out of this because they couldn't agree a deal with the player, perhaps? Which way are we swinging there, Shreyas?
I'm leaning more towards not being able to get the terms ready with the player, because the thing is, United from their end have done everything possible, I think, to facilitate a deal for Rasmus Hojlund when it comes to the financials, when it comes to the pricing, or even when it comes to, making it a loan with an option to buy or an obligation to buy. So United have opened practically all doors for a move for Hojlund to happen away from the club. But everything that we've been hearing coming out of Hojlund's camp and the player itself has been that he wants to stay and fight for his spot. Yeah. And if you look at a club like AC Milan, and you look at the way they play, they do need a striker, to complement Leao, to complement other players around them. And with AC Milan, it won't be a problem for Hojlund to get, consistent minutes.
I agree.
He'll be getting a lot of minutes for sure in that team. So for him to not move, I think it goes down more on the player rather than the club or rather than the situation.
Less clubs involved, Sam, isn't great for us, is it? Because then it's like you've got no competition or no kind of bidding wars or people pushing for him. With AC Milan out of the race now, how do you feel about that deal actually happening and going forward? Do you still think it'll go on loan?
It seems like he doesn't really want to go, though, doesn't it? From all intents and purposes, he wants to stay and fight for his spot and be at United. So if he drags his feet a little or doesn't really seem interested, it works out for him, doesn't it? Because he gets to stay. I like that he backs himself, that he could get back in this team. I admire that. But if
it's fucking optimistic, though, isn't it, Sam?
Well, yeah, he's extremely optimistic. But like I said, Amorim is pretty clear with his players, and it's like, look, you ain't going to play in this team. And he's been right about that. Garnacho has not played in this team. Rashford is now at Barcelona. Antony has not played in this team. Terrell Malacia has not played in this team. Jadon Sancho has not played in this team. And they won't play. Even if they're still here by the end of the transfer window, they will not play. It's just as simple as that. So he normally sticks to his guns when it comes to that. We've seen that at Sporting as well. However, Harry Maguire has come back into the squad after an absolutely terrible season, 6 months, where all of us were asking him to go. We were hoping West Ham would buy him and all this sort of stuff. And he's gone on a redemption arc, and now he's one of the most important members of the squad. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to do that, but he's up against it. He's definitely up against it. So it might be easier for his career to just go somewhere else, play really good football, either get a move to that place, or another club comes in and goes, oh, you played really well, we'll take you. It'd probably be easier for his career that way, but maybe he backs himself to get back in this squad. You can't really blame him. You can't blame him.
There's two leading questions from that then, Shreyas. Is Ruben Amorim how do you think he's looking at this squad in terms of rotation in each position? We'll talk about the midfield pecking order a little bit later, but from an attacking sense, who's going to be kind of rotating in what positions? And also, do you think they need to actually sell him or for him to go out on loan to have an impact on other positions? Because it's not going to be that much of a financial benefit. Obviously, it's a lot of money. You talk about 4 or 5 million quid, let's say, for his loan fee, 70k a week off the books. Is that going to make a significant dent in terms of bringing another midfielder in?
I don't think it will make much of a difference if you have to, talk about it in the sense of getting a new midfielder in, unless, you are actually able to get him a permanent move away from the club. In that sense, maybe, you can raise funds enough to actually, make a move for another midfielder. And if you look at these attacking positions, I think after that Arsenal game, everyone, pretty much knows those inside 10 positions are pretty much locked down. If you look at the striker position, Sesko is going to be getting consistent minutes in there. You've already got Zirkzee at the club as well. You've got Mason Mount, who plays as that, false nine, and you get that sort of a fluid front three, moving ahead. So you've got a bunch of options to work with, and you've not got enough games for players like Hojlund to actually get consistent minutes, because again, we're not in Europe. You've only got 38 games in the Premier League, and then around 5 to 6 games, or at the max 10 games in the League Cups, you have to combine it. So that in those 48 games, I expect, Sesko to get most of the minutes. I expect Cunha to get most of the minutes, Zirkzee to get a lot of minutes as well. But I don't see Hojlund coming into this team. And if he stays, I don't see him getting even more than 5 or 6 appearances, if I'm being completely honest.
Wow. That's quite strong, isn't it? 5 or 6 appearances. I saw a theory online, Sam. Now stay with me on this one. 8D chess, right? So Victor Boniface, who does he play for?
Bayer Leverkusen.
Right. So Bayer Leverkusen sell Victor Boniface. He goes to AC Milan. Bayer Leverkusen now need a striker. Who is Bayer Leverkusen's manager?
Erik ten Hag. Right. I see where this is going.
You see?
Yeah.
Is that bollocks or is it? Am I reading too much into it?
It's not that bollocks. Like, he did purchase him at United. Like, he made a push for him.
Played well at times on the rim as well.
Yeah. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Managers do take players from the clubs they've been at. Like, he bought a load of Ajax players with him.
Now you can go and ruin Leverkusen with all your shitty United players.
Yeah, go and ruin Leverkusen. So yeah, like, managers do that. Jose's done that. So a lot of managers have done that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whether Leverkusen would buy him or not, I don't know. Like, they've obviously seen him in the league for United, and they've probably gone, not best buy, I don't think. So whether that happens or not from that point of view, but I'm sure if you asked Erik ten Hag, if Rasmus Hojlund was available, would you take him? He'd say yes. Yeah. It's whether Bayer Leverkusen higher ups would allow that to happen.
For you though, Sam, the rotational options in the attack, how do you see that lining up? Who do you think rotates in and who are the starters for you in each one of them as well?
It's probably going to be Sesko, isn't it? He's probably going to be your guy who starts most games. Then you'd probably see Zirkzee as a plan B, either off the bench or in a different game where you need something a little bit different. Cunha and Bumo, Mount, Ahmad, Bruno are probably going to be your 10 options. Like, that it's going to be a combination of one of those, like, pair or like, like, really good
dynamic.
And then I saw Steve Railston from the MEN mention today the 2 deep lying players in competition are going to be Casemiro Ugarte and the 2-8s, Kobe and Bruno. So there's your midfield options pretty much. So yeah, your front line's probably, you're going to select between Zirkzee, Sesko, and Mbumo, Cunha, Mason Mount, Ahmad, maybe Bruno, and then Cheeto if you want to give him some minutes here and there. That's probably going to be your front line for this year, I'd imagine.
Yeah, interesting. I'd like to know what everyone else thinks as well on that, by the way. We'll talk Joshua Zirkzee in a moment, Shreyas. I'm just going to read a couple of comments out. Niche fan saying liked. James McGrory saying chilled, mate. Finished at midday, laughing. Where do you work, James? I'm going to try...
Are you a postman?
Yeah, let's try guess where James works before he puts it in the chat. I'm going to say, if you finished at midday...
Milkman finish early, don't they?
Yeah, that might be a shout. McGrogan the Milkman. Let's go with Milkman.
The
Shreyas, any
milkman
guesses?
still exists.
That's a
I've
good
not seen a
point.
milk. I've not seen a milk float in years.
No, but don't
I've
they
never
get about
seen a
really
milk-
early, don't they? We're not up at 4 a.m, are we?
No,
Like,
but
I
I've
think
been
that's-
up at 4 and 5 in the morning. I've never seen one.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
milkmen. Is Shreyas, are they milkmen a thing in India?
I haven't really seen any milkmen in quite some time in India as well. So
Yeah. might be a dying art. Who knows? Yeah. Sorry to all the milkmen out there. T2 years was saying, evening lads, back at home from holidays and just lit the barbecue. Oh,
Wow.
you lucky man. Refuse to let the holiday vibes go. Feel Rasmus will go. Wouldn't be a disaster. He's a good lad, not like the other two shitbags.
Jesus Christ.
Niche fan saying our front should be Zirkzee, Cunha and Ahmad. We've got a ready-made midfielder with Mbumo. We could utilise Brian in the pivot with Ugarte. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that.
No,
it's
not
kind
a fan.
no.
Everyone's
Not a fan
entitled
of
to an
that.
opinion, of course. Who knows? He might be a genius. You might be seeing something that we're not. You never know. I've read worse theories this summer, Nick, to be fair. And Aldi broskies. Well, Aldi sell milk, don't they? So, I don't know.
Oh, you're on the night shift at Aldi.
The night shift at Aldi.
Yeah.
Either that or he's just fucked off work midday and thought, do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to stick on Real Red
I
Stalk.
can't be asked.
Yeah, I'm going to stick Real Red Stalk on. I'm going to get in the bath, fuck Aldi and fuck everyone else. And do you know what?
What is
You're more
your-
than entitled to do that.
What is your obsession? Every time you mention somebody listening to the show, you say the bath.
Because I listen intently to most of my podcasts in the bath.
Right. Okay.
Otherwise, my attention span, because of stupid things like TikTok and other social
Yes.
media things, I just can't focus on one thing unless I'm in the bath. Because in the bath, you know
Can't
what
go
I mean?
anywhere.
Can't go
Yeah,
anywhere. So it's just you and your screen, and you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Sh-
whatever-
Shrey-
Go on.
Shreyas wouldn't know because TikTok is banned in India, so he's not. He says
Yeah.
doesn't know
And also,
about that.
who's getting a bath in India? It's fucking boiling in India. You don't want to get a bath. Do you? Unless it's a
You
cold
can have an
bath.
ice bath. You can have an ice
Yeah.
plunge, like an
Yeah.
ice bath. That'd be good.
Yeah, I think you could order milk and other stuff from Milk and More. Ordering milk for me, just yeah, I don't know. The shops are on the corner. Why do you
Died.
need to
It's
order
died.
milk?
It's died now. Like
It's a dying
Blockbuster.
art.
Blockbuster died, didn't it? As soon as Netflix was a thing, that was it. Video
Blockbuster.
shops gone.
Do you know what the first game was I rented from Blockbuster? Simpsons Hit and Run.
Mm.
Did you ever play that? What a fucking game that was, by the way. Simpsons
It
Hit
was-
and Run. Blockbuster.
It was a rip off of Crazy Taxi, though. To be fair,
Probably, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think they did it better than Crazy Taxi. In my
see what?
opinion.
I bet you don't remember Crazy Taxi, do you, Shreyas?
Not at all.
Do you know what
No.
Blockbuster is? No.
No, he's too young.
All right,
He's too young.
let's move the conversation on. You know who Joshua Zirkzee is, don't you? Just to double check.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about Joshua Zirkzee then. So, some senior Man United officials believe Joshua Zirkzee has the potential of the new signing Matheus Cunha. Just a couple of injuries have kind of hampered his growth a little bit. What have you made of him since he's come in the door, Shreyas? Obviously difficult assessing him from last season because of the way the season was. I think everyone was shit. But from what you've seen from him, how impactful can he be and what's his ceiling?
I think he can genuinely be impactful for us, no doubt about it. I think he's technically quite gifted, and he's a very, technical and smart footballer. In that strike, he's a unique sort of a striker. But I think one thing that I've seen last year, as well as one thing that a lot of people have said for quite some time is that his pace actually lets him down on a lot of occasions, and
Yeah.
especially in the Prem, when you play in those advanced positions, you need to have the pace to beat opponents. And last season there were so many opportunities where I could see Zirkzee, taking on players, winning duels, winning dribbles, but he just doesn't really have the pace to actually break through lines
Mhm.
and make those sort of runs. And he has had to cut back, he has had to play people in, and it just really hasn't worked. And I think, as an out and out number 9, he still doesn't fit in the system at all. I think you really need to change the way you play. You will have to, drop Zirkzee deep. You will, have to ask Cunha and Mbumo to actually play even more further up. But the thing is, if you do that, you make yourself more vulnerable on the counter.
Yeah.
Because those two midfielders actually form a box with the two double pivots. So if they are advanced as well and you've got only one player staying in behind, it creates more pressure because your wing backs are advanced as well. So I think it is a tough, it's going to be tough for him to, play in that number 9 position. But I think as a 10, there is still a lot of prospects for Zirkzee to work in this, because he knows how to hold up the play. He knows how to play people in, and when it comes to knitting the attack and actually drawing people towards him, he does that job really well. And again, he's very talented. I think he's adapted himself as well, because he had a really tough start at United last season. Came back quite strong, became a really important player, became consistent for us. But in totality and overall, the only problem I've always had with Zirkzee is his output.
Yeah.
Like, even if he plays well, can he convert it into double digits of goals and assists? That is something that I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's to be fair, James just made a good point in the chat. Sam, he says, "Can I just point out we haven't really seen Zirkzee and the rest of the squad look really fit and strong, so it's kind of wait to make the full assessment." But there's definitely a player there. He's just a very unique kind of player, innit? There aren't many. I'm trying to think of comparisons in my head in Europe, the players that are like him, and there's not many. He's very
many. Not in the goal scoring way, but he's very Berbatov, isn't he?
Yeah.
Great touch, very skillful, good with his feet, likes to drop in, no pace. Well, I don't even know if Berbatov had pace or not, he just couldn't be asked. I don't know which one it was. He probably was quite quick, but he just didn't run anywhere. Like, he never ran, ever. But Berbatov had the goal scoring record. Like, he got in the right positions and scored a lot of goals. So that's the difference there. I think the reason we've kept hold of him is because we have brought in Mbeumo and Cunha, who are going to do his running for him. And I think that's how it's going to work. So he's able to drop deep, get hold of the ball, and then Mbeumo and Cunha are going to run on, or maybe even your overlapping fullbacks like Shreyas mentioned, Dorgu, Ahmad, and he's going to be able to shoot the ball out to them. They'll do the running for him, which means he can then get into the box either in a cutback position, or if they pull it into the 6-yard box, he's got enough time to get in because they're doing the running for him. So I think he could link up really, really well. And I think, I was going to say Ten Hag then, Jesus Christ. Amorim is realised that, which was why we've seen the reports. They're not selling him. They don't want him to go anywhere, and Amorim rates him. And that's why Hojlund's been pushed out the door, because he knows he don't work in this system, but he thinks he can get the best out of Zirkzee. And he has, he's come back from training and this whole thing, they're all lean and stuff. But he's come back looking fitter. He's come back looking stronger. And we've yet to see him because he's been injured for the preseason. But I'd be really interested to see if we ever get a game, or we ever get like half an hour of him, Cunha, and Mbeumo. Like, that'd be really interesting to see if that dynamic does work.
It seems like he's got a really good connection with them already. I know pictures and videos can tell a million different things, but he does seem to get on with him, and he is that quiet, reserved guy, Joshua Zirkzee, which I think why he would get along with someone like a Brian Mbeumo. They seem to have kind of similar interest in that. So I think that connection is going to be definitely interesting, what you point out. For me, the way I asked myself a question to know if it's going to be a long-term player at United is can you see him starting games regularly for United?
I could definitely see him starting some games. I think
on a regular basis. Like, I can't see it.
I think the modern system is you have your main striker, who's going to play most of your games. You look at like Haaland is going to play probably most of their games. Yeah. Occasionally, Marmoush might step into there, and I'm sure they've got a youth player who can go into that role. Same with Arsenal. Gyökeres is going to probably play 90% of their games going forward. Havertz can play there, Saka, etc.
With his one
Chelsea, Chelsea was Nicola Jackson, but it's probably now going to be João Pedro, and then Delap might come in here and there. So I think that's how most teams play, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, being a bit part player. So I think that's how it's going to operate going forward. I think if we had if 4-4-2 came back and we had two strikers, I think that could be a really interesting connection. Him and Sesko. Yeah, I think that could be really good.
9.5, innit?
Yeah. That could be really, really good. Like a Rooney, sort of Tevez type sort of role going on.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. And I don't mind him being a bit part player. There's nothing wrong with that. I was just trying to think in Ineos's head how they saw it when they was bringing him in, what was in their mindset to, do you know what I mean? Like, we're going to bring him in as the number 9, or we'll just bring him in as a kind of rotating, competing player. I think it's very, very interesting. Tisu saying, I was going to say Burbo, he was super quick at Bayern. He knocked us out of the UCL with a burst of pace and finish. My main criticism of Joshua Zirkzee is that he strikes me as someone who shoots because he knows he has to. He's not a natural finisher. And I see Zirkzee starting those games where other teams' defence are really big centre-backs. Sesko's 6'5", but on his own will pull one out of line so Brian and Cunha can bomb on. Yeah, at least you've got options there for different games tactically. I think that's the main thing for a coach. He's got the weapons there to use. He's got to use them in the right way. Moving on to Jadon Sancho, Shreyas, there was a report before from Gazzetta, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt, that Jadon Sancho's agents are demanding high commissions from Roma. Juventus and Atletico Madrid have been scared off by that, which is why they backed out of the deal, but Roma are happy to pay his wage demands of €9 million per season, which I think it worked out. It's £145,000 a week. 630 grand a month is what Roma's offering him contractually. Now, these things where you see like agent commissions and add-ons and all this kind of bollocks, quite simply put, this is just making the deal even more difficult than it already is. So in which case, with you now, are you done with this whole situation? Are you sick about talking about it, sorry? And do you see him going, or do you think he'll just be a part of the squad?
I have started to not care about it now because
I can tell by your face.
Every single week it's something new, and the net result is always that he's not going to go, the transfer is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I've just lost interest. After that Juve saga, it just felt like, you just lose interest in a transfer.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And with Sancho it has become frustrating because you would expect a footballer, to at least from his end try and get a move where he can actually get minutes, or actually, be able to showcase his talent, be able to revive his career pretty much, because he hasn't really been able to hit any heights since he's moved into the Prem. So he's got a lot of work to do, and with how carefree and how slow he's progressing, that he doesn't really care, clubs are going to come in for him and this and that, doesn't really put a positive message for potential clubs to even come in for him. And what Juve did is something quite smart, because they saw what Sancho demanded, and they just went and gave Yildiz a new contract. They signed Conceição on a permanent as well, who's a really big talent coming through the ranks. So they don't really require Sancho. And the same goes for Napoli. Napoli have moved in for Noah Lang, and they've made improvements in that area. But it just goes on to show that if Sancho thinks that clubs are going to keep coming back at him with new contract offers and new wage offers till the end of the window, he's not really thinking it quite correctly, because with how Serie A progresses, they tend to actually get their work done quite soon, especially when it comes to their major transfer. You look at any of the big teams, you look at Inter, you look at AC Milan, Napoli, even Juventus. Every single one of these clubs have actually got their business done quite early, majority of it pretty much. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with Sancho, but I just want him to leave the club in whatever capacity it is, because again, with the kind of money that these clubs might have to throw at Sancho, they're not getting that sort of a player. Like, if you expect to give that sort of a wage to someone, you would expect them to come in and actually take you to top 4 at the bare minimum. And if Sancho does come in, again, I don't even see him starting for Roma. They've got Dobvik, they've got Paulo Dybala. Sancho is not going to play in one of those two positions.
Signed Leon Bailey as well from Aston Villa, Roma. So it's one of those.
As a Roma fan as well, do you really want Jadon Sancho?
Exactly. You just took the words out
If I was a Roma fan, I'd be like, fuck him off. Yeah. I don't want him. I don't want him at this club, honestly.
Give a chance over him.
Yeah, like, I would be like, please, no, I don't want him. I don't want him at the club. And I'm surprised that Besiktas fans were all on his comments begging him to come. Because if I was any other football fan and he was linked to my club, I'd be like, please do not go get him. Please, no.
Yeah, if you read everything, or even just watch this show for 10 minutes when we speak about Jadon Sancho, that's enough to tell you not to buy the fucking player. This kid has been an absolute nightmare since we brought him in. So we chased him for about a year and a half or whatever it was. Yeah. Initially, they was quoting £110 million, which, thank God, we didn't pay. Surprisingly, we actually didn't pay that. We paid £72 million on £350,000 a week, and it has been, without fail, a total disaster and one of the worst signings we've ever made. Right up there with Antony, right up there with Alexis Sanchez, right up there with the fucking rest of them. The way we paid that money, shocking, absolutely shocking. I can't believe I don't know how much it'd cost If you could just get rid of his contract now and just cut it, I would love to do that. Obviously,
it's
they're never going to do it, but
300 grand a week for what?
3, 6,
9 months.
You're looking 15 million a year. So
15
he's got a year left on his deal.
So you'd have to pay him 15 million. That's a transfer almost. That's nearly a transfer fee just to get rid of the fucker.
It's what we paid for Mazara, wasn't it?
Fuck's sake, man.
I was looking at his agency to see, like, is it one of those agents who, you know, milk money, but whenever they get a move. But the same agency as Sacco, Gittins, Iwobi, like, and I was looking at Gittins' deal to see if there's any kind of sus in there. Just a couple of add-ons, nothing kind of major. So, yeah, I think this is all on the player, to be honest with you. I think it's all down to him. He's looking to get the biggest bag that he possibly could.
Why would anyone in their right mind say no to Chelsea when they spent a full year there? Yeah. They've obviously, you know, built some sort of chemistry with the players already there. They're getting Champions League football on top of that. Why would you say no?
Towards the top of the league, like, it's a good club to play for.
Sorry, just news coming in from Damarcio. Napoli have intensified contacts for Rasmus Hojlund. Negotiations now seem to be at a more favourable stage for the Italian club, along with option to buy and then a sand timer with a ticker. So there we go. We spoke about Rasmus at the start of the show with AC Milan and was asking if it's one or the other. Maybe it is because Napoli are like, yeah, we're going to push forward with this. And also, for them, why wouldn't they? You've seen everything that happened with Scott McTominay and how well he done there. Lukaku's out for 3 to 4 months. Yeah. That as a Napoli fan now looking at it, I'd be like, I'll take a chance on him. Definitely. Yeah. With the way McTominay worked out.
He plays well in Europe. He played in the Italian league before, so he's familiar with it. Yep. He's got a point to prove because he wants to prove himself and he wants to play well. So
and he'll do decent there.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Niche fan saying it's okay. We've got a system where Mount, Zirkzee, and Mainu won't even play. We don't have a midfield. Brian would dominate. It's basically a Carlos Baliba, where Mount, Zirkzee, and Mainu won't play. Well, speaking of Mainu, let's go on to the midfield kind of pecking order. So Stephen Railsden before, which you alluded to, Sam. Ruben Amorim views Ugarte and Casemiro as competitors for one of the deeper midfield positions, and also views Fernandez and Mainu as competitors for the partnership of the other side. I just wanted to get your, and any one of you can jump in on this, your perspective on that midfield situation. I still think United are going to sign one. When it'll be, who it'll be, I have no idea, but I do believe that they'll end up going to buy one. In which case, who's falling down to the bottom of that pecking order, do we think?
I think Mainu does.
Over Ugarte?
The thing is, I've at least seen Ugarte get minutes. Mainu, I haven't really seen get minutes. Like in that game against Arsenal, I thought it would be Mainu who would be coming on. Because we were trailing by a goal. Mainu has that, ability in his locker to actually get a goal or make that sort of a move in the final minutes of the game. He's done it a lot of times at United. But when Ugarte came on, I just thought that, in a game where you're trailing and obviously, you want to win or at least get a point, you're banking more on Ugarte rather than Kobe Mainu in that sort of a situation, especially against a team like Arsenal. That speaks a lot as to, the sort of pecking order in the, mind of the manager, because for me, Kobe Mainu probably would have started that game. So again, definitely up to the manager. He has his own thought process. But I think if a new midfielder does come in, Bruno is obviously staying there. Like he is a sure shot starter, whether we like it or not in that, in that department, but he's going to start. So I think Casemiro is his first choice, at least for now. Maybe the new defensive midfielder or whoever it is that comes in might take, there might be a little bit of a competition, but I just don't see how Mainu is going to break into this team, especially in that double pivot, because I just don't see any sort of push from the manager's side to actually get him minutes in that position.
Interesting, isn't it, with Kobe Mainu for sure. Could we not potentially look at Sam? Obviously, Bruno Fernandes is going to move on at some point. Kobe Mainu is only 20 years old. Maybe he can grow into that role. And maybe for the meantime as well, Bruno, like we've all said we don't think Bruno can do a job there. But having watched the Arsenal game, because there isn't a heavy reliance on him to step forward and be that creator and provide, because you've got Cunha and Mbumo there, you can get more of a reserve performance from him. But I don't, again, it's like, is that enough still? I'm not entirely sure.
I think he's going to end up being Bruno's replacement. I think that is the plan. And obviously he's come out, like Steve Ralston has come out and said they're the two competing things. And I don't think Bruno is going to be around for much longer. Like, I think I've said it a couple of times. I think this is Bruno's last year, personally. I think he stays, and then we bring in a midfielder, whether we do or not. And then I think, but obviously, we're going to go back in for Belieber next summer. So I think Ugarte will end up leaving. I think Casemiro will end up leaving. So that midfielder we bring in now will stay. Belieber will come in. Casemiro, Ugarte will go, and then Bruno will go, which will free up another fund to get somebody else, hopefully next summer with Belieber. So, yeah, I think Kobbie Mainoo's the heir to that number 8 position. And I see a lot of people getting annoyed and getting upset because he's not playing. I think Amram would probably admit the mistake of bringing on Ugarte against Arsenal rather than Mainoo. I think that was a poor tactical move from his point, and he probably realizes that at this point. But yeah, I'm not too worried with Kobbie. Like, I think he's the next thing. Whether he's got patience or not to sort of stick around and wait for that, that's up to him, isn't it? Really, like, he's got to decide.
Yeah, it's the development side of it for me, because if you take how many minutes he had under Erik ten Hag, the amount of game time, even for England as well, you've got to think there's a World Cup coming up. Is he going to be starting for England in the midfield, do you think, as of right now?
Not currently. No, not currently. But this is Thomas Tuchel, who's taking Jordan Henderson for reasons I can't work out. So stranger things have happened.
I mean, I'm sure he'll definitely take him, I think.
Oh, yeah. But we saw Wharton go, didn't we? And he didn't get a fucking minute. He didn't get a sniff under Southgate, didn't he? So it's like,
which is crazy, is that,
by
the way?
How
crazy is that? Palmer didn't get any sort of minutes during the Euros either.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? Like, that you've got these players who are super, super talented, and they're not being picked, even though they're going on the plane and stuff like that. So it's like, is that going to do Mainoo any good, going and not playing? Like, would it be better for him to rest at home and stuff like that? Like, I know he probably wants to play for England and be there and all that sort of stuff. But look what happened to Luke Shaw. He went, didn't he? And he just fucked it for us, didn't it? It just absolutely ruined us. So maybe
the one thing I'll say to that is, though, he won't be playing any minutes for United. So if he's going to get, if he gets any 10 minutes, 15 minutes for England, I will absolutely take it at the minute, because the kid, there's no two ways about it. If you would have asked us as a pool of, like, I was just say pundits, then we're not pundits, but you take what I'm saying, finalists, let's call ourselves. If you ask us about Mainoo a year ago, all of us are saying this kid is the future of England's midfield. Like, he's the future of Man United. We do not want to get rid of him. We want to keep all of him. He's such a talented kid. These, you know, people comparing him like generational talent and all this kind of thing, and he can't get a minute for United. That is a problem. That is a huge, huge problem that we need to address, because he cannot sit on the bench for a season. He can't.
No.
It's going to hamper his development. And he himself, as a player, you would want him to come out and say, if that's happening again for another season, I'm going to move on. You can't be happy to sit on the bench.
Maybe that's why he's not signed that new contract yet. Maybe he's not got assurances that he is going to get minutes and stuff like that, because that contract's supposed to have been signed loads of times, hasn't it? And it hasn't. I've not seen a report.
How many years has he got left on his current deal, do we know?
I think like 2 or 3, so it's not that long. But they want to obviously tie him down, don't they? So yeah, maybe that's why he's not signed it yet, because he's not got the assurances that he will play.
Well, Shreyas, where would you want to see him as an experiment now? Do you want to see him more in the midfield, or would you prefer to see him higher up in the team?
You can't play him higher up now. I think the only way he breaks into this team is in the pivot, because again, we've seen what that number 10 position actually needs now. You know, when you see Cunha, when you see Mbeumo, and even when you see Mount now, you see how much of a demanding position that 10 position is. And I think Mainoo definitely, you know, on the ball, technicality-wise, everything checks off. But that instinct, like Cunha and Mbeumo were literally blasting through that defense. You know, they didn't really bother whether it was 2 players or 3 players in front of him. They rammed through that defensive line. Kobbie Mainoo doesn't do that. No. So the only way, especially, you know, under Amorim, if he needs to break through in this team, it is in one of those double pivots. I don't see him getting a sniff in that 10 area.
Yeah. And with Bruno Fernandes being the captain, it's impossible for him to take over. He won't play more minutes than Bruno. It's just a fact, in it. There's just no chance it's going to happen. So maybe does it tinker with him in certain cup games, you know, tactically, for whatever reason he might shift it. But I think he's probably going to play 15, 20 games max this season. Yeah. Or is that being too generous? I don't know. It's worrying for me personally. Niche fan saying Anthony isn't going to go into Batiste. We should bring him back and use him as a wing back with Ahmad in the 10.
Nope.
Lieber's going to Real Madrid. They're selling Camavinga to register him. I don't know where you're getting this information from. Pinch bats, 4,000. Go on.
Do you remember the time when Ten Hag asked Anthony to play wing back? How much he sort of kicked off?
Yeah.
It's not happening, man. It's
In
not
theory,
happening.
left-footed, hard. Like I get it.
Yeah. But
no.
he doesn't want to do it. He's not going to want to do it.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Pinch bat saying Mainu is very young. Bruno won't be here forever. He's perfect to take over from Bruno when he eventually leaves. Hope we can keep him happy with enough minutes until then. There's the balance that we're talking about. If you can do that and keep Mainu happy, then fine. But I think he's going to be a frustrated boy at the end of the season. And he's not really one. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to air his kind of frustrations and be that person. But yeah, there's a question mark there. So we shall leave you lot with that question. In general, Kobbie Mainoo's future, where do you see it and where do you want to see him play? And do you think he'll get enough minutes this season? Just kind of round off the show what we was talking about. We started speaking about AC Milan being out of the race for Rasmus Hojlund. Now it seems like Napoli are in advanced conversations with Hojlund and they're going to get the green light very soon, according to Damartio. So that's good news for us. Get him out on loan there. Hopefully he does well for Napoli like McTominay does and we get cash for him. Mm-hmm. It's a win-win for everyone, right?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we spoke about Zirkzee's situation and everything else going on at the club. So we've covered the majority of the news today. Keep an eye out on socials, as always. I always tell you this, for the most up-to-date kind of transfer news or anything going on with the club for that regard. And please do subscribe because we are on, people, right? We are on right now, 24,960 subscribers. So we are 40 subs of 25,000, which is one of the big kind of milestones that we wanted to achieve. So if there is anyone new, you've enjoyed the show, you've appreciated the opinions, you like me, Sam, or Shreyas, you might not like any of us, but you just like the show in general, then hit that subscribe button. And yeah, we'll be live again tomorrow. We've got the Fulham preview coming up at some point on probably Thursday, Friday. And if anything breaks today or whenever, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing and we'll go live. Anything else, Sam?
No, just follow all the socials. Keep your eye on everything because obviously transfers never go on at a time which is convenient for any of us. So it could literally happen at any minute. So the easiest way to know is Twitter/X, Instagram, and then obviously, like you said, notification bell. Then you know when we go live.
Yeah, agreed. Shreyas, you want to leave us with any words or a message for people watching? Or
Yeah, hopefully, Hojlund leaves and Sancho leaves, and by the time the weekend kicks in, we can celebrate our first 3 points of the season.
What a way to end it. Appreciate that. Appreciate you all tuning in every single day. You're a bunch of legends. Keep an eye out for the merch drop soon, and we'll see you guys